Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Macro Podcast. I'm your host, Douglas Dow. With me today is my good friend Brody. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to do this.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be an interesting show, folks. Going to have a compelling story for everyone. And Brody, if you could take us back to the before you are now. How did you get involved in this space?
Yeah, so I grew up in not such a great household. I grew up, my dad was in and out of prison. I remember going to visit my dad through a piece of glass with a phone. I remember even one time he got arrested while I was with him.
Oh,
He was
geez.
running out of a Best Buy or something, carrying a TV, threw it in the back of the car with someone chasing after him, screaming his name. And then he, drive off into the street, and about 5 minutes later, we're getting pulled over by like five cop cars.
Wow.
And luckily, I got to sit in the cop car where it was nice and warm. But he was getting put in the other one in the back, handcuffed. So grew up a little childhood like that. And then as I got older, I ended up having my daughter when I was 16 years old in high school. So by the time I was a sophomore, I was a dad. And really kind of just was kind of repeating the cycle that I was kind of born into, and I didn't realize it. I wasn't taking responsibility for my life and not taking a lot of like really just anything. I was just blaming everyone. I was angry. I didn't really work on myself at all, and just kind of it was a mad teenage father.
A lot of reasons to be angry, actually, right?
Yeah, but I did realize one thing from my dad, not being there, was that I didn't want to be like that, and that was a big pivoting moment in my life where I realized that I had more to worry about than just myself, and that I wanted to be around for my daughter. I wanted to be there. I wanted to show up to her soccer games and things like that. So I ended up meeting my partner now in my senior year of high school, Alex Kingman, and she is into the financial literature and self-help and stuff like that. So I ended up picking up Rich Dad Poor Dad one day
Ah, that
and
book
sat
has changed
down.
a lot of lives, hasn't it? It's incredible what the influence that book has, and it's interesting too. It doesn't go a lot into okay, that's cool. How do you do that? But it does change your mindset so much in terms of big picture what you should be shooting for.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it really just took. It didn't change my everything that one moment. It was more, uh, a 1 degree, a 2 degree difference that took my life in a whole different direction. And from that point, I graduated high school, started working, and got into the trades. Started working as an electrician. Um, was doing that for a little while, and my goal as an adult was to purchase a home because my parents had never owned their own home. And really, it was the American dream. Like, if I can buy a home, then I'll be successful. I made it, right? And if I work for 20, 30 years, I can eventually buy one, especially living in like the San Francisco Bay Area where
Oh,
houses are
geez.
not cheap.
Yeah, no
Um,
doubt.
but I ended up buying my first home when I was 21. All right. And I did that. And luckily, my partner and my life partner, Alex Kingman, she was a little bit smarter than me at the time. And we got something that we could rent out a half of it and do like a house hack thing. So we ended up doing that, learning how to do property management. We got a tenant in there. And then 2 months later, they were like, oh, we have to move now. So having to deal with that and replace the tenant. And of course, paying, a couple $1,000s a month for mortgage here. It really was a lot at that time. And then I ended up doing a remodel, and we lived in a small little 300 square foot studio for a little while, granny unit in the back. And ended up converting that into a 2 bedroom. And now we live there for almost nothing. Um, and then going from that point,
Which is a great trick, by the way, in the Bay Area, right?
oh yeah, way great, yeah. Basically, they pay like 70 to 80% of all the expenses of the property every month.
Incredible.
Um, with that, then going from there, started doing, continue working in the trades, and ended up making or buying more out of state properties. So we bought a couple properties in Indiana that were cash flowing, and then we bought a fourplex in Florida that was basically unlivable. It which that we learned a lot on that.
Yeah.
And that one was like our first big rehab. We ended up putting over.
And you did this pretty much remotely. You didn't like fly down there very much, or you were pretty much.
I flew down there once. Right?
Wow.
And also before this, I'd never been to Florida.
Right.
All right. So like I've never been to Florida. I didn't really travel at all through my childhood or, before I became an adult.
Right.
And so I'd never been to Florida. I bought this property, with my property manager, did basically Bigger Pockets, David Green's long distance real estate investing. Yeah. Did that, try to manage that. And I was like, I'm going to I don't want to pay the 20% to pay the general contractor to manage it all. So I was calling HVAC companies, electrical companies, plumbing companies, and got a guy to do most of the like flooring, cabinets, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And learned a lot on that property. A lot, like we bought it. The main drain line was completely washed out, so we had to replace that. Had to replace all the HVAC. It was extremely water damaged, so we're ripping out drywall, ripping out studs, replacing them. But it took us almost about 8-10 months to get it done, which we originally planned for 6 months. Right, bought this on hard money as well, so it's just eating into our pockets every month.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up actually flying out there, just to kind of surprise the contractor before I paid him out on his, $25K.
Yeah.
And met him and kind of walked the property, make sure he was doing what he's supposed to be doing. And really, that one was a big learning curve for us, and really that we got a lot of scratches and bumps on it, but we ended up coming out on top and made about $100K in equity on it.
Awesome.
And it cash flows now in a good area.
And in terms of project management, it seems like you already had a pretty good feel for it coming in as an electrical contractor, but then actually starting to go through the process of pulling permits and making sure you had good subs and stuff like that. That seems like an incredible opportunity to expand your skill set that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, really, it was a lot of elbow grease. Really, just trying to find good contractors, especially right now. When I was doing it, the contractors were extremely hard to find, and especially good ones. So reaching out to them, and like I just had spreadsheets of every contractor I needed, and it would just call. And I was working at the time as well, so I'd leave my house at 4 or 5 in the morning to drive to work. And Florida time is a little later, so I'd be calling all my contractors on my way to work. I'd get to work about a half hour early, get on my laptop, start emailing people, just basically doing whatever I needed to do, and then drive on my way home, making phone calls as well. And really, that's basically how we did our small multis and single families. And now we have pushed into, in the last 4 months since June, I quit working as my W-2, got my contracting license, and now we're doing our syndication.
And Brody? So to be clear about your syndication business, where are you at in that process?
So we are currently looking to go GP on deals.
Okay.
We are looking as well on purchasing our own deals and being lead sponsors on that. Primarily looking in the Southeast, looking in Florida. I like Northeast Florida, so like Jacksonville, Gainesville, and also looking in the Carolinas. And then lately, I've been working with Michael Scandavelli, and we've been trying a partnership there, and he primarily looks in the central U.S. of the Texas and Oklahoma areas.
And Michael's a good partner, I'll tell you that. I think the world of that guy.
Yes, yeah, he's a great guy.
And he's ferocious and relentless.
Yep, yeah, that's what I like about him.
Yeah, it's like, what do I need to do? It's not, can we do this? It's like, what do I need to do, and then does it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Brody, when you're looking for these deals, would it be fair to assume you're looking for heavy value add, since you have such an incredible construction piece to add to the GP team?
Yeah, no, definitely. heavy value add, distressed, preferably property distressed and heavy value add. That's really where our advantage lies. Working with KGI, that's our specialty, is we can do those things. And yeah, just having the construction background really lets you, see all the little things that you wouldn't think of having, to make sure that all your lines are checked, or make sure, checking the wires and things like that, where it's just, if you don't catch them, on a 100-unit building, that's going to be another $100,000, right?
Absolutely. And in terms of markets, what do you like about the North Florida market?
It doesn't get hit by hurricanes. Like, I'm thankful that
Wow,
I
it's a
know
safe part of Florida.
I know it's
Yeah.
really I feel really bad for all the people out there that had their properties and things destroyed, but that's really, like, Jacksonville does not get hit by hurricanes very often, and that's one of the main things I liked about it. The economy there is very diverse. Um, I really like that, and also too, because I have bought my single families there. I know that which neighborhoods to stay out of. There's lots of little pockets, so I know where I want my properties.
Oh, very good. So you've done some single family stuff there already.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. Good to know. That's an incredible opportunity right there for the North Florida market. Have you seen any feedback on what's going to happen with the insurance in the Florida market because of the hurricane stuff? I'm a little concerned about that aspect of it. I don't know if you've heard.
As far as I've heard from other people, is that a lot of companies are going to be leaving Florida for insurance, and then insurance rates, of course, are going to be going up like they always do. So I don't feel too worried about it. It's just, you always just have to underwrite for it, and always try to be conservative in your underwriting, and actually get quotes for things and stuff like that.
And what have you heard about the Carolinas? I've heard good things, but what are your thoughts on the Carolina market?
I think Carolina markets have good opportunity, depending where you're looking. And I have partners boots on the grounds in those areas as well. So because of that, able to get a little bit more tactical advantage, knowing the brokers in the space and everything like that. I primarily look for about under 100 units value add. So that's really kind of where I like to play. It's small enough where you're not fighting with the big boys for the big pieces of meat. But it definitely lowers the bar for that as well.
And Brody, it seems like eventually some ground up in your future, maybe.
Yeah, I have my own contracting license. So as for that, I want to potentially take that into some development in the future. Have been looking in the build to rent space as well, just because at this point where cap rates are, it kind of starting to make more sense.
It's attractive, isn't it? Build to rent's kind of like, ooh, oh, really? Yeah. And what other opportunities do you see on the horizon, Brody, that are looking good to you?
Yeah, I mean, really, of course, everyone's talking about the interest rates coming up. Based on the last thing I've heard and read, looks like interest rates are going to come up again this quarter. So I think there's going to be opportunity coming up with all these, $5 billion worth of bridge loans that are going to come due in the next year. So I think that is a huge opportunity where people underwrote, refinancing at a 4 or 5% interest rate, right? Now they're going to be coming at a 6 or 7.
Ooh, the pain train is coming.
Yeah. So I think that's really a lot of opportunity coming up on that. So I've been trying to be aggressive on my offers, and even if they're not taking them now, maybe in 6 months when they really need to sell it, they'll come calling.
I think you're onto something with that. I think there's going to be significant trading. I mean, they may not be there yet, but I don't think much longer is my impression either on my end. So we'll see. But looking forward to some changing in the pricing. Multifamily pricing in the past 5 years has been on just an interesting tear, and it feels like the inflection point, I guess is the word I'm looking for, is we've crossed that already, I'm pretty sure, and that's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
And Brody, can you tell us a little bit about Alex and how she works in the business with you?
Oh yeah. So my partner Alex Kingman, I work primarily on the acquisition side. So I'm talking to brokers looking to find deals, analyze deals, underwrite deals, make offers. And she primarily works on the capital raising side. So she's been doing that, and she is. I'm sure Doug will talk to her as well, but she is very good at selling.
Yeah.
She actually worked for Airstream, the travel trailers,
Oh, sure.
selling those.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and within I think it was within her first 6 months, she was top 10 in the nation. So she's very good at selling and very she's just great.
Yeah,
I really like her.
absolutely a natural. And I do agree. I think with her background and everything, she's going to kill it in the capital raising space. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And you're right. I will try to beg, borrow, and steal to get her on onto the podcast here because she's.
I'll put in a word for you, Doug.
Oh, please do. Please put in a good word for me. Like, hey, cut this guy some slack and go on his little podcast, would you? I'd sure appreciate it. And Brody, what is your ultimate objective? Do you think where you really like to see the business in say 5 or 10 years?
Yeah. So I mean, with our 5 years goals, a really huge passion for mine is being able to like help people that were in my space when before I kind of. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It froze up there for just a second, Brody. So really helping folks that are, and you actually were telling me about you're even thinking about doing a speech about financial literacy and financial responsibility.
yeah. So I'm actually going by. I have me and another friend of mine that are very passionate about it. We're gonna go to some of the local community colleges and just go speak to really some of these people that may have been, that don't even know that the potential that they have, and really just try to just shift, push that 1 or 2 degree angle a little bit, and change some lives. That's really where my passion kind of lies with that, and also giving back. So like our 5 year plan for our business is to be able to take 10% of our profits and donate it to cause or charities that that can help in that space.
Well, I can't love that more, and I myself have been breaking some cycles myself, and I think that that's the greatest gift that we've received, and the greatest gift we can pay forward is the breaking the cycle. And I admire your goal very much on that. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it's the thing is if I can save one more life, or improve another, I think that's really the best thing I can do.
It's a righteous goal, isn't it? Just one person, if just one person hears you when you're out there, it's worth it. It sure is.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel very passionate about it. Really, just like growing up the way I did, and dealing with those things. If I can do it, if I can be, at 25 years old and doing what I'm doing, anyone else can as well.
That is legit true. And about the whole mindset shifting belief, how you don't realize it, but beliefs are literally like on an etch a sketch. We think they're like written in stone, but really beliefs are an etch a sketch. You just have to shake the little board and create new ones. And you do that, I think, by hanging around people that have done what you want to do, or can convince you that, hey, you are in my shoes where I'm at now. I see where you are now, and well, that just means you believed you could do it, and that's the only difference. And so, cannot congratulate you more on that objective. I think that's an incredible mission that you're on.
Oh yeah, just make the world a better place.
Good plan. Good plan. One apartment building and one person at a time.
Oh yeah, definitely,
That's right.
definitely.
Well, Brody, thank you so much for coming on. What is the best way to get a hold of you if they want to know more about you and KGI Capital?
Yeah, so we have a website, and then also our LinkedIn, uh, active on LinkedIn and working on that. So yeah, those are best spots: LinkedIn and our website.
Thank you so much for coming on, Brody. I look forward to talking to Alex soon, but thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, no, thank you, Doug. It's great.
You bet. Thank you.
Bye.